Officials from the Gauteng Health Department involved in the COVID-19 Personal Protective Equipment or PPE scandal have been summoned by the Special Investigating Unit or SIU to pay back 30 million rand to government. Now these officials, pension funds have been frozen as well. The Gauteng government has received a progress report from the SIU into their ongoing investigation into the irregularities in the procurement of tenders for PPEs. You'll remember in August, the SIU said that it was investigating over 700 companies who wrongfully obtained these tenders worth 7.5 billion rand. Advocate Selby Makgotho, the spokesperson of the SIU Special Tribunal, joins us now to discuss this more. Advocate, thank you very much for joining us. It's good to have you here on the program.
Thank you very much. Good morning, Lee, and good morning to the viewers, and thank you for having me.
Let's perhaps begin by you telling us a little bit about the officials from the Gauteng Department of Health and the SIU who have now summoned them to pay back 30 million rand. Who are these executives? Who are we talking to?
Well, thank you very much. As you would recall, on the 20th of August, the Special Tribunal granted an order freezing several bank accounts linked to the PPE supplies arising out of allegations of several breaches and violations of procurement policy. One other order, as you would recall, was the granting of this on the same day for the interdict where the government employee pension fund was restrained from releasing the pension benefits in respect of the former chief financial officer of the Gauteng Department of Health, pending the institution of civil recovery proceedings before the Special Tribunal. That is where we are at the moment. Summons have been served on the former chief financial officer as well as the head of the department in an effort to recoup an estimated amount of 30 million rand, which was lost through alleged tender irregularities pertaining to PPE. So the parties will respond to the summons in due course, where they are expected to settle the case, and at the end of the day, they will have their day before the Special Tribunal.
So if we look at who those implicated are, because there's some very high-profile individuals that have been fingered in this particular PPE scandal. We're talking to Gauteng Health MEC, Dr. Bandile Masuku, as well as President Cyril Ramaphosa spokesperson Kusela Dika and their spouses. Can you perhaps update us on those?
Well, based on the summons before the Special Tribunal, the parties that you have mentioned are indeed cited as respondents. Those are the ones that have their bank accounts frozen as we speak. And on the 6th of October, that is next week, Thursday, they will be appearing before the Special Tribunal. That is the return date wherein they are expected to come and indicate to the Special Tribunal why the interim order that was granted then should not be made final. What this primarily means is that they will have to come and argue the merits of the case, because remember, that was just an interim relief. To freeze the account was to enable the applicants, being the Special Investigating Unit, to proceed with their investigations. And where we are at the moment pertaining to the two officials that I've mentioned, the head of the department as well as the CFO, there is a prima facie evidence, hence that they will come and respond to, hence the issue of the summons. But in relation to the other parties that have come before the Special Tribunal, whose bank accounts have been frozen, they will be coming to the Special Tribunal next Thursday on the 6th.
Now, those so that is still, and those are still ongoing. So, head of department, CFO. Are they responsible for paying back this 30 million rand that you were talking to government? Is it their responsibility to get that money back?
Based on the summons and the court papers lodged at the Special Tribunal, they are alleged to have had a direct impact in as far as the loss of the money is involved. For instance, for the former chief financial officer, the allegations are quite massive, in the sense that she is alleged to have violated and embarked on several breaches pertaining to the procurement. How service providers were allegedly appointed, that is also another issue. And for the head of the department, the allegations contained in the summons are that, having been made aware that there were these alleged irregularities that were occurring, the head of the department did not act to curb the ongoing irregularities. He would have been expected, based on that is the argument in the court papers, to have played a key role in ensuring that the money is not lost. So he's alleged to have ignored his responsibilities. But for the former chief financial officer, the appointment of service providers, allegations of price inflation, quite a number of alleged irregularities have been mentioned against her, and the two are now alleged to be responsible for the loss of the 30 billion, which the applicants contend in the papers that the state would suffer irreparable financial harm if they are not held accountable.
Yeah. If we look at the punishment meted out to them, because we saw the inflation of prices, and I'm just taking, and these are from the SIU papers that obviously this was reported in the Sunday newspapers yesterday. And one of the cases that has been quoted, and this is from the CFO allegedly altering the prices very dramatically. I mean, this is from Kabelo Lehlonia. This is, of course, the CFO in the department, saying that basically this is what has been founded, that the price inflation that happened, biohazard refuse bags, were inflated from 95 cents. This was the actual cost of the bag. It was then inflated to 7 rand. I mean, this is criminal, and that's where one has to actually look at the punishment handed down in terms of paying back this money, which is obviously the right course of action. But surely there should be a criminal case as well, looking towards the head of the department and the CFO, and not just left at them paying back the money. What they have done is actually criminal.
Yeah, well, you are right, because we are only guided by the application before the special tribunal. As matters stand, yes, allegations, deep-rooted as they are, quite fundamental, quite severe, and the scope or jurisdiction of the special tribunal is towards recovery of the money, to institute the civil recovery proceedings, which is where we are at the moment. But I also need to indicate that at the end of it all, they will have their day before the special tribunal. They will come to answer several allegations as contained in the summons. And the special tribunal will be in a better position to grant appropriate decisions or orders in that regard. But I must also indicate that at the end of it all, should it come to a point where the special tribunal orders are not being respected, an appropriate jail term will be the last option at our disposal. So, but we hope that at this stage we are not yet there. They will have to respond to the summons. They will have to come to court to cite their side of the story as per the rules of natural justice. And yes, a proper determination will be taken from there. As to come to a point where the allegations of criminality are involved. At this stage, I should think that at the level of the investigations, it could have been picked up, and should it have been picked up at the level of the investigation, appropriate investigating bodies such as the courts, the National Prosecuting Authority, would have been involved. But we do believe that as the case gets along, so many things will still be ventilated in court, so much evidence is still expected to be ventilated in court, and a proper determination will ultimately be made.
In your opinion, just from some of the investigations that you have done, because these are still ongoing, I mean, when we look at the final amount, which I'm going to ask you, I mean, we're still sitting at only 30 million rand worth of these funds that have been literally illegally stolen from the department. I mean, there's no other way of putting it, that needs to be paid back. But the amount actually runs into billions. So what I need to know here is that, are you confident that you will get the majority of these funds back, which is so desperately needed, and hopefully try and regain some of the integrity into the Gauteng Health Department, because at this point it just looks like the reputation is in tatters right now.
Yes, Leanne, that is actually our primary objective. The reason for the existence of the special tribunal is to recover the money where it has been misappropriately taken. As part of the 30 million, the 30 million actually comes into the context that it is what is allegedly being paid to the various service providers. Quite a number of them. There are actually about 40 respondents. I cannot remember all of them, but the first respondent is the Industrial Development Pty Ltd. So the argument is that had the parties played their part, this money would not have been lost. The interdict of the pension fund in respect of the former chief financial officer is one such mechanism. But at the end of it all, once the proper case has been set out in court, it has appeared before the special tribunal, we will look at whatever proportionate amount is almost equivalent to the 30 million rands, and it will be recovered accordingly. And if at the end of the orders, if at the end of the day, the orders, the decisions, or the judgment that we granted the special tribunal are undermined or are not being fulfilled, we will look at, obviously, the possible jail term will be the last option at our disposal. So we do believe that the parties will come together, they will come to help the special tribunal to do its part so that we can make a proper determination and at the end of the day, be able to recover the money that is due for the taxpayers of this country through the efforts of the special tribunal.
Mm-hmm. Just from what your understanding is, the status of the current positions of the head of department, Mkhululi Lukele, because he obviously is under investigation here. I mean, this all happened under his watch. Is he still in employment from the department?
As far as we are concerned, yes, he is still in the employ of the department. The only person who has left is the former chief financial officer. But what I can also confirm, Leanne, is that both the head of the department as well as the former chief financial officer have received the summons, and I think they are in the process of responding to the summons, and they will come back to the special tribunal. We expect that to happen within the next week or so.
I'm reading from the reports that did come out yesterday that Lehlonyo's lawyer has said that the client is opposing the allegations made by the SIU and would be filing an opposition or opposing motion next week demanding the release of her pension, and will also outline reasons in the court application. Are you aware of this?
We are not yet aware because it has not been formally filed with the special tribunal. As soon as it is filed, yes, we will be aware. I also saw it. It's only what we read in the papers, but on record, we do not have Ms. Lehwenya's answering affidavit or any other correspondence as yet. So once that has happened, we will definitely be aware.
How many more companies are being investigated? Because obviously we're still have a long way to go in terms of this. I mean, if we're looking at 30 million rand, as has been discussed right now, you know, the amount in terms of what is being investigated and the irregular tenders amount to 7.5 billion rand. How far are you with these? How many more companies are being investigated?
Well, the special tribunal is not involved in the investigation. It is only the special investigating unit that is responsible for the investigations, collect evidence, gather information, and based on that, they will then come to the special tribunal. So at the moment, what we have is the 38.7 million that has been finalized through the investigation by the SIU, happening to be the applicant in our cases. So once there are investigations that have been completed, they will come to us as the special tribunal for adjudication. So at the moment, we have a list of about 40 companies. That is what, from our understanding, has been finalized with the investigation. But I think the SIU will be in the best position to respond as to the details of the investigations.
All right. Just a final question before I let you go. We know that the SIU recently conducted search and seizures at a municipality in the Western Cape to seize documents. Are you able to tell us a little bit more about this particular event that happened?
No, I'm not in a position to do so. It is still at the investigation level. It has not yet been filed with the special tribunal. Once they have collected the evidence, once they've gathered all the required evidence and they are ready to approach the special tribunal for an order or a relief in that regard, we will be available. But at this stage, the file is not yet with the special tribunal. It is only the one that we had is from the Eastern Cape, the one that we decided last week pertaining to the PPE, that was the project. And the one that actually we have is this current one. But beyond that, we have no other files. We do believe that as and when they are ready, they will come to the special tribunal to institute civil recovery proceedings, which is the primary mandate and objective of the special tribunal.
All right, we leave it there. Advocate, thanks very, very much for your time and for updating us on this story that's come through. Advocate Selby Makgotho, the spokesperson of the SIU Special Tribunal, talking to us about those officials from the Gauteng Department of Health who have been summoned by the SIU to pay back 30 million rand to government following the PPE corruption scandal. That, of course, is still ongoing, but this was just an update into that investigation. All right, let's take a break.